Hello and welcome again to another edition of Tailgate Talk Week 2. I can't believe it's Week 2 already.
It's already feeling like Week 2. I'm a little chilled here.
Kalle Oaks, rainy Whitehouse. And we're looking at the Class B slate here, and we're going to start off with Falmouth traveling up to the home debut of the Phoenix, the Spruce Mountain Phoenix, who I guarantee won't have uniforms as ugly as the University of Maryland's. But,
or Georgia.
Or Georgia. But it's a big matchup for both teams. Falmouth just absolutely annihilated
Greater Gloucester.
Greater Gloucester last night. I can't keep track. And Spruce Mountain just eked out a victory over Greeley. So, you know, what do we see in this matchup this week, Cal?
Yeah, you certainly saw the game of the weekend in Cumberland with Spruce getting off to a tough start, shut out in the first half. Turnovers sort of took the Phoenix out of control there, but then they sort of got it together in the third quarter. Had to stop a 2-point conversion to avoid overtime and eke out the win on the road, as you said. Falmouth's obviously an explosive team, but you know, how much do you quantify those 65 points against Greater Gloucester, a team that hasn't won a game in a couple of years and is really just building their program with a lot of freshman and sophomore material. Spruce, obviously, a lot of excitement to be at home at Griffin Field in Livermore Falls for this opener. I think that's good for a touchdown or two. Falmouth certainly with Jack Couline, by a lot of people's estimation, the best receiver in Class B. He's a threat. He's got to get someone to throw him the ball, but he's a tall, rangy kid. If they put it up in the end zone, he'll go up and get it. Spruce Mountain, no doubt about what they want to do with the spread option offense. Certainly get the ball to Bill Calden and watch him work his magic 333 yards last weekend. This has the potential to be one of those, I think, 35-34 kind of games. It'll come down to the final series.
One big thing for Spruce Mountain is last week they faced one of the smaller teams that they're going to face in Greeley. This week they're facing one of the bigger teams that they're going to face in Falmouth. So they're going to have to match them physically, no doubt. Let's move down the schedule here. A matchup that looks close on paper but may not necessarily be. Mountain Valley at Marshwood. The Falcons just being the Falcons last week, whereas Marshwood lost their Class B debut, so how do we see this one stack?
Yeah, I think we'll see the Falcons, we'll see how they respond on the road. Certainly at home against one of those new Class B teams, it was no contest. I think pretty much the first 4 or 5 times they touched the ball, they were in the end zone. Marshwood took it on the chin from York last weekend, so they didn't fare much better than Westbrook did. A lot of people with some high expectations with a team coming down from Class A with a lot of starters back, but Mountain Valley just seems to reload. Matt Hosey becoming the focus back in that backfield, and the Falcons, as usual, have a lot of different ways they can beat you. If they can avoid the slow start, the long bus ride, they've got a lot of practice with that over the years, so I don't think that's anything new for the Falcons.
Go to York and take a right.
Exactly. It is a long way down there to South Berwick or Berwick. They're kind of neighbors with Noble there. I think it's certainly a game where Mountain Valley should be favored pretty heavily.
Yeah, the Western Meat Contest, Freiburg at Greater Gloucester, the Patriots home opener. They have nowhere to go but up this week.
It's been a few years since Freiburg's been 2-0, I think 4 or 5 years ago when they made the playoffs, but this is certainly a chance for the Raiders to do that, and Greater Gloucester just wants to get on the board and make some positive things happen.
In the East, it's Mount Blue against Madison. If we had this last year, it would be Class A against Class C. Now they've met in the middle. They're both Class B. On paper, it looks like a shootout. Madison had 52 points last week, and Mount Blue is Mount Blue, so can we expect another one of those high-scoring games this week?
Maybe, at least on one side. I think Mount Blue certainly the favorite. And they just have an embarrassment of riches of athletes with Cam Senek, with Nick Hilton, with Jordan Whitney throwing the football, with Isaiah Tracy out of the backfield. Madison, I saw them last year. They can score points, there's no doubt about it. But I think the Mount Blue defense going to be a big step or 2 or 10 up from Old Town and what Madison saw in that game last week. 52-48. I mean, when's the last time you saw 100 points combined in a high school football game in Maine?
Well, the last time you saw them in a high school basketball
That's
game.
true. I'm glad Madison making the free throws at the end there last week.
And the other game, Levitt with a long trip, heading out to Belfast. Belfast has been back on the way up a little bit last couple of years, but Levitt, impressive debut last week. Seems like we could have a fairly lopsided matchup.
Levitt with a couple of one-sided wins last year over Belfast, including the playoffs, which I saw both those games, and I was impressed by one thing, and I know Levitt was impressed too, and that's Belfast's ability to hit. They will let you know that you were in a football game. I think Jordan Hersom is one guy who can attest to that. He took some shots last year. Levitt, I noticed in their opener against Hamden, Hersom not running the football as much as he has in the past. That might be by design. You don't want him to get people teeing off on your quarterback early. Jake Willett certainly more than capable of running the football, and Ian Durgan with a huge game last week, 164 all-purpose yards. The Hornets just have too many weapons in this game.
Well, that'll wrap it up for our Class B preview. We invite you to check out the other 2 previews we have here on sunjournal.com for Class A and C. Check out all of our high school coverage there on sunjournal.com, SJ Varsity. Pick up the print edition on Thursdays for page 2, Fridays for our weekly feature, and Saturdays and Sundays for all of our coverage of all the games, and Mondays for our wrap-up of the weekend's action. So for Kalle Oaks, Randy Whitehouse, we'll be back again next week. See ya.